Welcome to another Cheese Fest. This is AiHEADHUNTER and I'm gonna present to you PvT game. It's a ladder game. I don't know who's my opponent, but he's gonna cheese and I'm gonna own him. So, the game is starting, the map is Ohana, and it's the kind of map on which terrans are usually cheesing or allining because the distance between bases is relatively small and 2 racks is strong here, or any kind of Helion drop is also strong here. So let's see how I deal with it. I will make few mistakes, but we can learn from them, and I hope this video will help at least few people. So the pylon is up, the gateway will be in progress at 13. So really nothing extraordinary at the beginning. One gate nexus is the most common opening in PvT, and one gate nexus with one gas. If you use 2 gases, your expansion will be a little bit slower, but it's possible that the terran will be a little bit confused about why you take 2 gases and maybe a little bit afraid of some cheese or all-in from your side. So if you take 2 gases before expansion, you should also chrono boost Stalker and make sure that no scouting SCVs could get in your natural and scout your nexus, because at least it forces terran to scan, and if not, then he just doesn't know, and then if he doesn't know whether you expand it or not, you can make a fake pylon under his ramp and make him afraid of 4 gate or something like that. So my scouting probe didn't get in his main. That means a few things. I don't know if he has taken gas or not, and I don't know if he's gonna proxy additional barracks or not. So I need to scout basically the whole map. This is the way I do it on most of the maps. Once you get greedy and don't scout basically every position, you will die in some cases when your opponent is proxying another barracks. So nothing else to do but scout the whole map, and also make Zealot and immediately send the Zealot in his natural and check for the expansion. So the Nexus is up. The Warp Gate has to be chrono boosted all the way until you scout that your opponent is gonna expand. So 3 chrono boosts on probes after gateway, after pylon, after gateway, and on 15 when you get 25 mana. But after that you save your chrono boost, you don't chrono boost any unit, and you chrono boost warp gate all the way, because if you don't, you will have later warp gate and you could die to 2 racks. That's the thing I learned quite some time ago. So I was able to scout his natural, and I already know there's no expansion. Also, I'm quite sure it's no 2 racks with the Marauders, because on the ramp there was only Marines. Of course, I could be wrong. And also I'm quite sure that there is no additional proxy barracks, because I would be already he would already reveal himself. So 2 additional gateways, that makes 3 gateways, and Robo will be there soon. 2 probes on my minerals at home, and rally points on my expansion to get the optimal, the best mining. What to do with your units? I recommend to hold Zelnaga with Zealot. I recommend to have 2 Stalkers in your main to be ready for possible medevac drop or banshees, and the rest of your units in your natural, and have those groups on 2 separate numbers, hotkeys. One hotkey, I think I use hotkey 1 to the group that is in my first base as 1, and hotkey 2 for the second. And you can see that I didn't have 2 stalkers ready on the edge of my base, and I'm gonna lose 2 units because of that. I panicked and I backed all of my units, and that means his Hellions had a free way to my natural, and I was barely able to save my probes. I need to focus the medivac. That's the most important thing. And yes, I got the medivac, and if we check the worker skill, it's only 4. So even though I made a huge mistake that could cost me the game, he wasn't fast enough, or let's say I was able to just save the probes. And a very good situation, I managed to sneak the Zealot in his main. That's something that is not entirely based on luck. You can plan for this, because 6:30 is the time when you get dropped, and at this timing the Terran has no units in his main, and usually even his depot lowered. So you can just send your Zealot in his main, and in quite a good percent of scenarios you get in. So two stalkers in my main, and the rest of my army in my natural. Right now there is no point to have the stalkers at the edge of the main to prevent the medivac drop, because the medivac is already dead and there won't be any additional drop. That would make no sense, but there could be a banshee harass, and if we check the production tab, we see that there is in fact a banshee, and here it is. It's even with a cloak, but I have 3 observers. That's how I always do it, and you need to add the observers in your groups. Add 1 observer in the group 1 when you have where you have the stalkers, 2nd observer in the group 2 where you have the army in your natural, and very good poke with the Hellions and killed a few additional workers. So the harass is working for him quite well. And what's very important thing I have to mention is I'm making a robo bay, and this is usually not the way you want to defend 1-1-1, but you need to scout how many barracks does he have. If it's in fact 1-1-1, that means 1 barracks only, you definitely shouldn't go for the Colossus, because you won't have the Colossus in time and you would lose due to low amount of gateway units. But I was able to scout that he made more than 1 barracks. He made, I think, he was making additional barracks as I was scouting his main. So that means he's planning to hit me later, and with more marines. And it's quite bad for you if you go gateway units and immortals. You expect the Terran to attack like 9:30 or 10 minutes, and he doesn't. And he's continuing to mess marines, and you still don't know in which time he's gonna attack, so you continue to make gateway units and immortals, and he even can delay his push for 2 or 3 minutes, and he can hit you at the 13 or even 14 minutes with just marines, tanks and banshees. And if you didn't switch to any higher tech because you were afraid of the attack, you will lose, because the DPS of marines is just too high. But I was expecting him to attack later, so I knew I could take Colossus. So this is really important strategic move that you should remember. And here is the fight, and I wasn't really ready for it, and force fields were late, so this is not going too well for me. I think I had the army to defend on my natural ramp, but I just wasn't ready. I didn't see his army, and this is a huge mistake, because right now I lost my Colossus, I lost most of our army, but I was able to save the ropes. That's at least something. I killed a decent amount of marines. That's also very important, and I have additional Colossus on up, and the range. This is very important range where you attack this, let's say, small amount of armies. If you attack big amount of armies, you can just focus the marines with your Colossus, even though you don't have a range. But right now he would just focus the Colossus with his tanks, and with 6 range I wouldn't really succeed with Colossus without range. So I wasn't prepared for this attack. This was obviously a mistake, but I'm still in a decent position because I saved a lot of ropes, and we can check the income tab. I have almost twice the amount of workers, so I only lost the Lexus, and I need to make some army and try to kill him. So Zealots in the front to tank the damage, and I'm getting insane splash damage, but it doesn't matter. I'm microing my Colossus, focusing his Marines and backing them up before they die. And well, I wasn't able to kill him yet, but I made a decent trade. I killed important tanks and I saved both of my Colossi, so it's still quite okay. The invisible banshees are annoying, but it's okay. The observer was near, so I'm quite confident that on my second attempt I would break out, and the Terran player sensed it, so he just went home. And at this point I could remake my Nexus and send a few probes to mine. Let's check the income tab. It's not exactly the twice amount, and my incomes is even lower because balanced mules, but that's okay because he doesn't have an expansion, and you could see that I made 2 assimilators prematurely. I realized that he could just make second wave of attack, and I needed the minerals for additional units. So one observer is checking his army. I need to be aware of him attacking for the second time, because if I didn't see it again, it could be disastrous. 2 Colossi, 2 Immortals and War Prism. A very good mix of units against his type of army. I will be able to focus Marines with my Colossi and hopefully load 2 Immortals in the War Prism and drop them in the back of his army and focus the siege tanks. So that's my plan, and I will stick with it. Meantime, I'm warping additional units. I'm glad I cancelled the 2 assimilators because I don't really need them, and the minerals could hurt, even though it's only 150. I'm already preparing for the for his attack with my War Prism. Loaded two Immortals, and right now I see his army. He's sieging under my natural ramp, and this is not so annoying because I don't need to go down the ramp right now. I know he's not mining on the second base, and this contain doesn't hurt me so much. I still have time until he pushes, and this was quite risky. If he held the Xelnaga with one marine, he would already see my War Prism and he could try to focus it, and that would really hurt. But he didn't see it. I unloaded 2 Immortals, and let's see how this works. 1 Immortal. No, I saved all the Immortals and killed just 1 tank. That's okay. In meantime, I changed the position of my main army, and oh, that wasn't worth it. I exchanged 2 tanks for 2 Immortals, and even though lowering the number of tanks is way more important than 2 Immortals, it still wasn't a good trade. But my army is large enough just to take it by A-moving. I'm focusing the Banshees with my shooting units. You could see that my my second hotkey was only with the ranged units, so I easily focused the Banshees, and a moving Zealots and Colossus did the rest. So that's it. Thanks for watching.